The greatest financial crimes are not committed in the shadows. They are stamped with the seal of the state. The medieval dollar was secretly forged. For centuries, the Byzantine Empire controlled the global economy. Their pure gold coin was the undisputed universal standard. Wars were ruthlessly fought just to possess this wealth. But behind impenetrable fortress walls, a massive scam unfolded. Desperate emperors secretly padded the world's most trusted asset with cheap, corrupting alloys. The empire was silently drowning. Mercenaries demanded astronomical payments to defend the crumbling borders. Enemies circled the magnificent city, sensing a fatal weakness. Instead of raising taxes, leaders chose a darker path. They began shaving off the pure gold and systematically mixing in worthless base metals. The chaotic truth is the public never noticed initially. We must investigate how this invisible metallurgical deception triggered an unstoppable, civilization-ending economic doom loop. To understand the crime, you must first understand the sacred nature of the acid gold was the tears of God. To the Byzantines, this metal was entirely sacred. It represented the unchanging nature of divine imperial authority. For centuries, their pure gold coin commanded global respect. The unyielding chemical stability of the metal physically projected the invincible power of the emperor. When a state issues mathematically flawless currency, it essentially commands unquestioned geopolitical and spiritual supremacy. Power requires immense, relentless physical expenditure. The empire stretched across 3 massive, highly contested continents. Maintaining these vast borders demanded a staggering logistical operation. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers required constant daily provisioning. Every sword, shield, and ration had to be meticulously purchased with verifiable, hard metallic assets. The sprawling empire acts as a massive thermodynamic engine, continuously consuming the stored energy of its treasury. Mercenaries do not accept empty promises. Foreign fighters formed the absolute core of the Byzantine military. They did not fight for patriotism or blind religious devotion. They fought exclusively for the heavy weight of pure gold. If the imperial treasury failed to deliver the physical metal, the army would immediately and violently mutiny. The defense of the civilized world rested entirely upon the continuous geological extraction of rare elements. But the earth cannot be commanded to yield more wealth just because an emperor demands it. Peace was purchased with heavy tribute. Warfare was exceptionally expensive. But temporary truces cost even more. Emperors routinely paid off hostile barbarian tribes and aggressive neighbors. Massive caravans of gold flowed directly out of Constantinople continuously. This diplomatic extortion systematically drained the physical monetary reserves much faster than the mines could produce. Purchasing temporary geopolitical stability through physical bribery creates a fatal, accelerating hemorrhage of national wealth. Glory demands a monumental physical cost. The emperors built the most magnificent structures in human history. The Hagia Sophia required tons of imported marble and silver. The sprawling capital city consumed an astronomical amount of resources. These breathtaking architectural achievements acted as massive economic sinks, permanently trapping circulating capital in dead stone. While monuments project the visual illusion of prosperity, they often mask the terrifying reality of an emptying vault. This is where ambition collided with the unbreakable laws of physics. Geological reality cannot be officially ignored. There is a hard mathematical limit to natural gold extraction. The earth yields its treasures incredibly slowly and with effort. Imperial ambition vastly exceeded the physical capabilities of the mines. The state was trapped between infinite political expenditure and the strict, unyielding laws of finite metallurgy. When a government's operational budget surpasses physical reality, it must inevitably turn toward dark financial deception. The money printer is an addiction. The emperor controlled the absolute monopoly of the imperial mint. This centralized power presented a dark, overwhelmingly seductive macroeconomic temptation. Raising taxes on a starving population risked immediate, violent revolution. But quietly altering the chemical composition of the currency offered a perfectly silent, totally invisible alternative. Owning the forge allows the sovereign to stealthily confiscate the wealth of the citizenry without passing a single law. They committed the perfect crime, and they gave it a beautiful name. They named the lie the Hyperpyron. The word translates to metal super refined by roaring fire, when it was a brilliant piece of imperial psychological economic marketing. The new coin looked slightly wider and felt incredibly impressive. Yet beneath the gleaming surface, the state had fundamentally broken the sacred mathematical covenant of honest money. By intentionally introducing microscopic impurities, the empire discovered the terrifying power to unilaterally conjure false wealth. Alchemy replaced honest metallurgical physical labor. Mint masters were ordered to secretly add cheap raw silver. They blended inexpensive copper into the previously flawless gold alloys. The physical mass remained identical, but the true value plummeted. This artificial expansion of the money supply allowed the emperor to temporarily pay his mounting geopolitical debts. Diluting the currency provides an immediate and intoxicating burst of liquidity while fatally poisoning the entire economic foundation. The state demanded absolute blind trust. Citizens were legally forced to accept the new diluted coins. Questioning the purity of the emperor's money was considered treason. The official ledgers pretended that absolutely nothing had structurally changed. But the physical laws of thermodynamics care nothing for the desperate decrees of a failing human monarch. You can easily forge the official paperwork, but you can never successfully forge the atomic structure of an asset. The poison enters the system slowly. The first cuts are always subtle. They reduce the pure gold content down to 21 carats. The visual difference was entirely imperceptible to the common merchant. The economy absorbed the initial shock with very little panic. This temporary success tragically convinced the ruling elite that they had discovered an infinite, risk-free financial loophole. When initial currency debasement goes unpunished by the market, governments inevitably accelerate the pace of monetary destruction. One single lie requires 1,000. The new false wealth was instantly consumed by perpetual warfare. The mercenary armies continuously demanded larger and larger physical payouts. The state had to dilute the coins even further tomorrow. What began as a minor metallurgical adjustment quickly spiraled into a desperate, uncontrollable addiction to the corrupted mint. The relentless appetite of the war machine will always completely consume whatever artificial liquidity the state can engineer. The illusion could not hold forever. The gold purity collapsed completely, while the once sacred 24 carats fell with incredibly drastic speed. Emperors systematically stripped the coins down to 20 carats initially. Soon, the official mint produced dismal 16-carat alloyed metallic discs. Eventually, the currency crashed below 12 carats, heavily contaminated with cheap raw copper. This systematic metallurgical degradation represented a devastating, invisible tax placed directly upon the Byzantine working class. Foreign merchants quickly exposed the fraud. Elite global traders from Venice and Genoa were exceptionally observant. They noticed the subtle dullness replacing the brilliant yellow luster. Their physical touchstones quickly revealed the catastrophic lack of gold. These global bankers immediately retaliated against the deception by ruthlessly inflating commercial prices. When the physical integrity of a global reserve asset fails, hyperinflation becomes a mathematically inescapable reality. Who pays the ultimate price for the state's deception? The people who cannot escape. The working class absorbed the blow. Everyday Byzantine citizens were trapped completely inside the capital city. The state paid their meager wages using the corrupted currency. But the cost of basic bread and vital essentials skyrocketed. The purchasing power of their generational labor evaporated silently into the bloated treasury. Currency debasement is the ultimate weapon used by a bankrupt state to legally plunder its citizens. The doom loop accelerated violently. As commercial prices exploded upward, the imperial budget shattered entirely. The emperors responded by aggressively mining even more cheap copper. They pumped unprecedented volumes of toxic alloys into the mint. This desperate artificial expansion destroyed the remaining fragments of international economic trust entirely. Attempting to solve a debt crisis by diluting the money supply only guarantees catastrophic systemic destruction. The golden illusion shattered completely. For centuries, the Byzantine state relied upon unquestionable monetary supremacy. Now, neighboring empires openly mocked the tarnished, lightweight, fraudulent coins. The sacred tears of God were effectively reduced to trinkets. By sacrificing the thermodynamic reality of gold, the emperors committed undeniable macroeconomic suicide. An empire inevitably crumbles the exact moment its foundational material asset permanently loses absolute global credibility. You can command the people, but you cannot command the elements. Physics always defeats political decrees. The state forcefully commanded the merchants to accept the metal, but the unyielding laws of chemistry simply refused to comply. The lack of dense atomic mass instantly exposed the lie. Artificial wealth creation triggers a devastating butterfly effect that permanently paralyzes physical economies. The ultimate historical truth is that a society cannot sustainably finance its glory using manipulated metallurgy. The end comes not from external enemies, but from internal rot. The devalued currency sparked violent rebellions. The unpaid mercenary armies violently turned against the desperate emperors. The empire could no longer defend its massive, crumbling borders, because its corrupted money completely lost the required purchasing power, and the state simply could not afford to buy vital weapons using cheap copper. Sacrificing the absolute purity of your money to fund short-term state expenditure always guarantees catastrophic disaster. The walls finally breached and fell. Centuries of undisputed geopolitical dominance evaporated into complete historical dust. The once mighty fortress of Constantinople was left utterly defenseless. The ultimate tragedy was authored entirely by their own mint. When foundational trust in the currency is destroyed, the society itself rapidly disintegrates. The fall of the Hyperpyron stands as a permanent testament to the fatal arrogance of power. Look closely at your wallet today. Are you holding gold, or are you holding copper? We are repeating this tragic history. Modern central banks operate exactly like the desperate Byzantine emperors. They relentlessly run fiat money printers to fund astronomical debts. The purchasing power of your savings is quietly siphoned away. From the ancient Hyperpyron to the modern dollar, the devastating mechanism remains identical. History has absolutely proven that you cannot print or mint your way out of unyielding debt. Do not trust the corrupted forge. Our fiat money is simply the modern equivalent of copper. The supply is effortlessly inflated by bureaucratic and political whim. True hard assets demand unyielding physics and verifiable mathematical energy. Protect your generational wealth from the catastrophic illusions of tomorrow's engineered macroeconomic collapse. We must actively anchor our entire economic reality to the unbreakable laws of thermodynamics and mathematics. Choose the unyielding truth of physics. The macroeconomic cycles of human greed will constantly rhyme forever. Comment below if today's paper money mirrors the fallen Hyperpyron. Subscribe to Hard Assets History to protect your future wealth. We will continue uncovering the physical materials and dark economics that dictate fallen empires. Always choose the asset that requires undeniable physical work and preserve your time across all generations.